knew there had to be ideas of resistance, manifest best in the guise of my distance. This persistence ends with a comma, or I can spell it out. I don't rap for no drama corps. Open heart, sword, blood on my sleeves, but I can't stop the progress. No time to grieve. Get your act straight and maybe we'll be friends again. Till then, represent, this is next gen.
Number 1 is the fans, 2 is ourselves, 3 is the music, the content itself. Give a damn about dollars, man, we rather make sense. We are the next gen, this is the next gen. 1 is the fans, 2 is ourselves, 3 is the music, the content itself. Give a damn about dollars, man, we rather make sense. We are the next gen, this is the next gen. He made the name for the music and not vice versa. They lost sight, loud mouths all hurt us. Blame our own people and we end up getting burnt. Took the dream of a proud man and dragged it through the dirt. Bickering, fighting like a bunch of bitchy kids. Then you wonder why the listeners still don't give a shit. Old hindsight's always 20/20. Well, I should've walked backwards and seen this shit coming. Can't believe I loved you, can't believe I fought for you. I just did what I thought the Godfather do. Lars says instead, make certain he retracts. Then you call it to a forum, stab it in the back. Et tu, Brute, you brought us shame. And all you so-called rappers soiled the name.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Tea Time. I'm shooting this one a little differently, so I do apologize if it does seem a little different. But I'm just trying something out and seeing something, so. But today's edition of Tea Time is going to be a little different, and it's going to be on a serious matter. I know, I've been doing serious matters for like the last couple of weeks. Oh no! But the thing is this is actually a problem, and it definitely needs to be brought up at some point in these videos. And last night was kind of a catalyst. Even though the person was joking, and I know the person was joking because they even came out and said they were joking, this is kind of getting to me, because anytime something happens, the words an ism always gets thrown around, and it's getting kind of stupid, I guess. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I posted on Facebook that I was looking for more co-hosts for my podcast, and I'm trying to do it with a primarily female base cast, because I'm trying to get more female voices out there to be heard. And yes, there's not enough female voices out there being heard and being things, and that's why, people like, Anita Sarkeesian are actually getting the attention that they're getting, is because the voices of females are not there. And so when voices come that are going to be female voices, that's why she gets, like, more attention than anything, because she is a female voice. You might not like her, that's fine. However, when I posted this, I was met with and like I said, the person was only joking, but I've actually seen this when Intel did their thing about giving women, developers, their whole program to get more girls and everything into like game development and into tech type industries. And this word was thrown around, and that's the word sexism. Like, any ism is actually wrong once you don't apply it right. And let's just start with what I think sexism is, and that is the discrimination towards one gender or sex, and and usually and here's where a lot of variations come from, but it's usually when one gender perceives that they're superior to another. That's how I define sexism. And yes, there is sexism going on in media, going in video games, and everything at the moment. Sorry. Quick drink. I know it's not tea, but it's water. I need it. So, I mean, why is this such a problem in gaming and everything? And that's mainly because, you know, there are, I hate to say it, sexism undertones, not in the games itself, but in the community at large. You can basically tell it when, you know, there are stuff like, you know, Intel's press, when they announced it, and all of a sudden everybody's like, well, what about men? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the only problem with it is at the time, you know, at this time, there's no problem getting men into tech industries. That's where they go. But because of the environment, there's not enough female tech people going into these industries. Yes, there's a lot in there right now. I would not deny that there are some really good people in the tech industries, but there could always be more. And it's the same thing with like sciences. There's only been a push lately to get more females into sciences. Is it sexism? On one hand, yes, it is. But on the other side, when you're complaining that, oh my god, these people are coming in, what about us? What about men? What about us men? You already got jobs in tech industries. So you're saying what? Yes, in a perfect world, sorry, kind of screw that one up all the time. The best candidate will get the job. In a vacuum, with no other indications, the perfect candidate will get the job. But that's not how it works in real life. And we know this. We all have some primarily characteristics in this that are taught. And it's not anybody's fault. It just actually happens. And it's actually been shown to happen. You know, the whole thing of like gingers, you know, you mention a ginger and the first thing people, you know, come to mind is they have no soul. And a whole bunch of other things. That's a baseline discrimination right there. And there's always some kind of level. I see it when I go job hunting a little bit, you know. I'm a really good candidate in what I do because I'm a hard worker and I can do a lot of things. But yeah, I'm getting passed up on jobs because I'm trans, of all things. And yes, there is a baseline. Sorry. There is a baseline thing there that says, okay, well, I don't want to hire this person because of that. And, I mean, there is just a little bit of things. And the whole reason I wanted to do an all-female podcast was, like I said, to bring more female voices. I'm lucky that a lot of Twitter people haven't caught on to that yet, or I probably would be kind of screwed at the moment. I'd probably be getting a lot of blowback, and probably after this video, I'll probably gonna get like people going, well, why don't you have any guys on your show? I do plan on having male guests on the show eventually. I still want to get everything up and running first before I start getting any kind of guests. But I wanted to take people from what I was doing, and it's going to be a Final Fantasy XIV podcast, so it's not like it's like breaking any charts. It's just a Final Fantasy, it's a particular game podcast, and I'm getting members from the community to do it that are females, because most podcasts have maybe one or two co-hosts that are female, if that. There are some that I know there's like one or two maybe that do have an all-female cast, but they're few and far between. Even when I posted it, a lot of the girls that were posting said, "Yay! We need more people. We need more girls." And why is this? It's because, you know, the whole underlying thing. I don't believe Anita Sarkeesian is right in a lot of the things he says. But at the same time, there is an underlying thing. There needs to be more voices, and we need to stop, this victim blaming thing too, because it just needs to go. We need to focus not on the victimhood, but on what's being accomplished. And right now, we're not getting a lot of that. Sorry, I don't understand why he keeps wanting him to do that. So, a lot of it has to do with that, and a lot of it has to do with, the fact that I do want to get more female voices out there. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to change anything, is by having more female voices, whether they be on, one side or the other, be, Democrat or liberal, Gamergate, anti-Gamergate. You need more voices out there. There's a hashtag a while ago, Let Women Speak. And a lot of the antis were not trying to let Gamergate girls speak. And I understand that, but at the same time, Gamergate's not letting anybody speak either. It goes twofold, and I understand that with the way it's going, you can't have everything perfect. And with the anonymous thing going on, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, but for me, anonymity is not even an option anymore. You see my face. My Twitter's got my name on it. I'm not trying to hide anything about me. I used to. I used to hide about everything about me. But, when I was online, not anymore. Ever since I started doing live streams and YouTube videos, it's been like, okay, we're just going to capture me. I'm not going to play a part. I'm just going to be me. And and the thing is we do need more female voices, and maybe in video game journalism, that's not playing the victim card like every single time, and actually, actually out there, letting their voices heard. I don't want an objective, like, as much as, objective reviews go, they're okay. They're just not anything that I would consider, standard. I mean, objective. And I guess this is my main beef with, like, the whole anti-Polygon Kotaku type of thing, is a lot of people have stated that that's not their type of review. They don't want to know, if a girl's going to be victimed in the game or not. But, I do. There are people that want to know these kind of things, before they buy the game. And, with the internet as it is, you can get those reviews and you can see those, but unlike before, you had to actually buy the game. I'm actually going to start a new series here shortly that's going to be about, strong female protagonists, because I'm going to start changing the tone of the conversation. It's no longer going to be about, oh, women are victims. No, I'm going to start showing the strength of women. And that's one of the things I wanted to do with this podcast, and even this YouTube video. We are strong. We can hold our own. We don't have to play victims every single time something comes up. And yes, we do not need white knights. I hate to say that, but we don't need white knights. And this is actually a different tone, and I'm actually liking the tone of this video. I thought it was going to be a lot different, and I thought I would be putting my foot in my mouth again, like I've been doing the last couple of videos. But I've been having some great discussions with some of the people that's been commenting, and I do appreciate your comments, and I hope you do comments below. Let me know what you think about sexism and stuff like that. Is it as bad as that it's being perceived to be, or is it something totally different. I know I'm probably going to get some of the comments about, you know, well, men are being discriminated against too because they're male from feminists. Well, that's just the radical feminists. There's a lot of regular feminists that want just equality. They want everything to be equal between the two races, and right now it's not. There was a chart out there saying per state, you know, how long is it going to take for women's wages to get up to equal to guys, and some of them are really shocking. But who are we to say, you know, that is sexism? There is some underlying, you know, sexism in there. Is it women's fault? Most likely not. Is it men's fault? Nope. It's society's fault, for the most part. And the quicker we know that, the quicker we can move on and build bridges and start getting equality in there. And yes, I'm much of a victim as feminist as anybody else because I am trans. And a lot of the radical feminists don't like that. But a lot of the feminists, they don't care. And from what I've noticed is a lot of people outside of, like, when I go outside, because of the way I present myself and the way that my body's looking and everything now, I hardly get the comments. I get a lot of you're beautiful comments and stuff like that, and I do get some of the harassment that girls face on the daily, and because I'm a girl, and I'm starting to get those once I started transitioning. And believe me, there is a world of difference between walking down the street as a guy and walking down the street as a girl. As somebody who has been on both sides of the spectrum, it is a totally different thing. Even when I'm working, I'm a server. I'm not going to tell you where I serve at, but I had some guys the other day hit on me, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just flattered and flirted right back with them, and I liked it. It was like awesome. And sometimes we just need, we lash out. As a society, as human beings, we do lash out when, you know, we're made to be afraid. It's just human nature, and it happens. And that's the case that's what's happening here. A lot of people are being afraid of stuff. Just because somebody speaks out against a game that you like doesn't mean they're trying to change it. I know it may seem like that, but that's not most of the case. Most of the cases. When I speak out on a game or something, and of something I don't like in a game, it's because I actually do generally like the game, and I want to bring to attention that I love this game, but for me to play it, it needs to change a little bit. For the longest time, I didn't want to play a Tomb Raider game, and that wasn't the fault of anybody else, but it was just the way that the game was marketed. I didn't see it marketed towards girls. I see it marketed towards guys more than anything. But with this latest Tomb Raider that was released for, now I got on my PC, I'm kind of getting into Tomb Raider, and I'm actually going back to play the old games, and they're actually pretty fun, and Lara Croft is a strong female role model. And, you know, I'm actually learning a lot of stuff lately. A lot of the stuff that I've been told and stuff like that I'm finding that is not really the case. But back to my main points. I'm digressing here, and I'll probably go over that later. Probably when I'm talking to some of these role models, because a lot of them are going to surprise you on this list, and that's only because how they dressed or some kind of element that has been spoken out against. And you know, we need to stop making people afraid. If we want more people in this right here, we need to get the totality of it and actually make it better. Make it where we can actually go, hey, I like playing this game, not because I'm female, but because it's a really good game. And you know, there's a lot of good games out there that, yes, do it, and I know a lot of them, and I own a lot of them, and on my PC I have a lot of them. One of them is not even playing right now, and it's making me mad. But, you know, society conditions us differently than they do guys, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing this blow up in females' rights and feminists and stuff like that, is because I hate to use this word because I think a warrior is something different, but you know, there's been a lot of warrior women nowadays that are taking the fights, and we need to realize that, you know, there's not, with female gamers, especially in female geeks and, you know, female comic readers, which, you know, female comic books are getting better for females to be in it, and everything, and you just gotta realize that change doesn't happen like automatically. It happens over a thing, and I can speak as a female when I'm complaining and speaking as on myself and not any other female. When I speak against the game, I'm not saying that I'm trying to take your game away from you. I just wanted to include other people, like the Call of Duty series. I understand why a lot of people like it. I can never get into it myself, but you know, that's, sorry, that keeps on like trying to escape, and it doesn't like really, it makes me mad a little bit that we're getting into shots like in video games, you know, we're getting into terms like fighting fuck dolls, when I see nothing wrong with the way that these women are portrayed. I mean, just because they're wearing skimpy clothing. One of my favorite role models right now in video games, I think I talked about this before in a video, is Cammy. And Cammy is not dressed appropriately for a fight. Maybe a wrestling match. but I still love her. I'm not going to ever change it, and just because she's the way she's dressed and everything, I love her, and I don't want her to change. Yes, I do use alternate costumes sometimes, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with going with the classics, and you know, not everything has to be, you know, skimpily clad, and nothing has to, and not everything has to be, you know, so rigorous that you're putting like having these females coming in and being dressed like to the nines and everything. Does sexism exist on both sides, male and female? Yes, it does. A lot of new feminists out there will be more, or let's say more the radical ones would be more sexist towards men than, you know, the ones that are not. Same thing with me. And there's a lot of men that are sexist towards women. And, you know, stuff like the MRA doesn't help stuff, because they're trying to take an already outreaching system that propagates that if you're a guy, you're going to be better than women to begin with. And just because they think that men is being butchered and stuff like that because of all these females that are trying to get more power. Who cares? It's time for us to be more positive as female gamers and try to get our voices out there and be these positive things than it is to sit down and sit back and actually, you know, play a victim. It's time we stop playing a victim. It's time that we start getting snarky right back at everybody that detracts against us, and just to have fun. When did we lose the fun in video games? Every time I see something anymore, it's negative and stuff like that. Even with like this whole Gamergate thing, where did we lose the fun of video games? Why can't we just sit back as gamers and just play games? Why do we have to get all political all of a sudden? You know, I'm actually going to stop here because I don't want to go into like the 30-minute range again, and I'm really close to it. Sexism does work both ways. However, you got to look at the context of what's being said and what's being done and why it's being done. If there's a good reason for something to be done, it's probably not sexist at all. Sometimes people just want to change the world, and to do that, sometimes a few eggs gotta be broken, and they're not trying to take away your toys and stuff like that. And I mean, my own personal opinion on, you know, Gamergate has been said before. I'm neutral in the thing. I'll always be neutral. I don't care who attacks me and whatnot. But we need to stop and actually start conversing. Which I'm gonna say right now. Am I right on this or am I wrong? You can let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, disagree with me. As long as you keep it civil, I don't care. If you don't, explain why that you don't, you know, you don't feel that, you know, I'm right or wrong. Also, do you think that sexism should be allowed to exist in its current form? Or do you think we do prop up women more than men anymore, or vice versa? Also, be sure to like the video. If you agree with me, like it. Get more people to see it and everything. And also subscribe, because I'm going to try to do a very good series about strong women protagonists, and it's going to be more than 30 days. And I promise you, I will deliver on that content. I am not the person who takes money from my Patreon. If you want to donate my Patreon so I can make these videos better and actually make the strong female protagonist videos a lot better. And believe me, if you donate to me, I will not be like certain people who say, donate to my page, but I'm not going to do anything with that money. I'd rather have fun, and my last couple videos, I haven't had that fun. But like I said, you know, like, subscribe, and I'm glad that you stayed. If you stayed to the whole video, I'm glad. But all I'm trying to do is closing the world to open the next. Bye, everyone.